Good morning, it's Natti Gee here in the UK again. I hope you're not getting bored of me, because there's going to be a lot more from me that you're going to hear. But today I think I'm going to talk about something a bit more serious. And the subject today is childhood trauma. I'm going to talk a bit about my childhood trauma. I'm always being bubbly and trying to make everybody else happy, but the truth of the matter is that although I'm 52, a lot of my childhood trauma has been sort of, stored up for many years, and it comes back to bite me every now and then. I don't know if anybody else has got the same kind of story or a similar story, but okay, what can I say? Well, when I was growing up, I was born in 1972. I was born in the UK, but my dad is from Israel and my mum is English. And what had happened is my mum went, here's the thing, my mum was going out with this guy. I won't say his name because it's probably not a good idea to say his name, but anyway, this guy that was quite well known for doing some festivals in the UK, some country and western festivals in the UK, and she was with him as a young girl, and as a result of him basically he slept with somebody and she found out. She was really upset, obviously, and then she got on the plane and ended up going to Israel. She went to Israel because she'd met some recording artists that were from Israel that are actually, one of them is, I think only one of them is still alive, and she's very famous in Israel. She went to stay with her. And the reason she knew her is because she'd met her as a recording artist because she and her husband had this Israeli girl, originally American Israeli, had come to the UK to do some recording in the studio of this guy. And so that's how my mum had originally met her and her husband. And so she kept in touch. And so obviously when that, the guy that my mum was with, when she found out that he'd slept with somebody, she got on the plane and she went to see that famous Israeli artist and to stay with her. She did stay with her in Israel, and that's where, during a party over however long it was, she met my dad. And she had a bit of a fling with my dad, who happened to be married, but he didn't tell her. So she had a fling with my dad. She came back to England. I'm making this all short because I don't know the time frames really, and I can't be bothered to start asking my mum. And she came back to the UK, and then at some point she realised she was pregnant. And then with me, and then she started sort of like trying to get back in touch with my dad in Israel and pleading with him to come and be with her. And I think he was in two minds whether he should actually leave his wife and be with her or just forget her because she's just some fling. Anyway, in the end, he did. After a series of coming and going and his wife telling him not to leave, he actually did leave, which is really sad. And he had 3 children with his wife. That's another story that I probably won't go into for their dignity. But anyway, the point is, he left his wife and his 3 children, which is really sad, really. And he came to the UK and he settled here. But within a short time, my mum and dad were just not doing well together as a couple. My mum was really erratic because she'd lost her mother when she was young to cancer. She was one of 5, 4 girls and 1 boy. I think there was something that happened in her childhood that she's blocked out, and she just was very erratic, very needy, all over the place, and she regrets all of it, and she said sorry as we got older, but she was not in a good place. And I think my dad, you know how men sometimes, I shouldn't say that because that's very gender centric, but you know how like men can sometimes look with their eyes, and so obviously in Israel he saw a blonde haired girl with blue eyes, and he got sidetracked from his marriage and his family, which is quite sad. Of course I wouldn't be born, but still, it's wrong. What's wrong is wrong. So he and her started fighting, and we grew up, me and my sister, in a very sad house, really, to be honest with you. We had some good times, because when people are poor, they do have some good times, and in fact sometimes they have better times in a way, because they appreciate things. But actually we didn't really, because it was highs and lows, because my dad actually started out having money. He had a Porsche, he had money, and he came to this country, and he originally had stuff, but he started losing everything on gambling, and then we just ended up basically over a span of a few years, we ended up really poor. And so we lived on a council estate, which doesn't make you poor, but I'm just saying, we lived on a council estate in Acton, which is West London, and that's where we grew up, and that's where our life problems really began, really. There's so many things that happened, but when my mum and dad eventually, after many years, when I was like a teenager, divorced, it was so traumatic, because for years they'd hated each other in a way, and been swearing and shouting, and you know, my mum would often swear at us, you know, she just, I don't know, and they both smoked a lot of hash at the time. So if my mum didn't have a spliff, or a joint as they used to call it, she just couldn't function. And then my dad was cheating on her, and then so she cheated back on him, and it was to and fro, it was awful. And we got brought into the mix, and me and my sister just became a bit of an inconvenience, really. We were just there. Oh my gosh, you know. And then anyway, I can do a part 2 of this, and I probably will, but the point is, things got really rough, and in the end Mum eventually left, because we didn't want to go with her. We wanted to stay with Dad. And but that was that after or before? Yeah, that was, so before that, or was it after? I don't know. We went into care for a while. We spent some time in care, because Mum said she couldn't cope with us. So yeah, she hadn't left yet. Before she left, she put us in care, because she said she couldn't cope, because we were just all over the place as well, and we were not behaving. Anyway, it's just, we had no rules or regulations. I know we went to stay with my auntie for about a year, and that was lovely, because it was a normal life. We went to like West Sussex, and we stayed in a normal life, in a normal house, with normal working people. But my auntie had her own problems, but she didn't reveal them to me, because she was a bit of a sergeant major, and she was a workaholic, and I didn't realise that she had her own marriage problems. She hid that all from us, and that was very mature of her. But we stayed there for a year, and yeah, I loved that life, even though it was tough. We had to go to bed early, we weren't allowed to watch TV, we only could have snacks once in a while. It wasn't like my house, my flat, where you could just do anything you wanted and eat anything you wanted, although there was much to eat. But you know, you could just stay up to whatever time. There was no rules, because my mum and dad, but mainly mum, we were too busy sort of like just smoking and just lying around, I don't know, just buzzing, I guess, and just doing the wrong things. And but still, my dad was my saviour. Funny enough, as much as he was, if anyone looked on it from the outside, they'd say, yeah, but your dad was out of order. Okay, but my dad saved me from my mum plenty of times. When my mum, you know, was losing it, my dad would save me, and my dad would look after me, and he would sort of like, if I was sick, he would come and, you know, help me, you know, clean up my sick. Or Mum would just, she hated all of that. She just wasn't really maternal, so she just she couldn't do it. She was like a child herself. I can't explain it, it's a long story, but Mum, yeah, she was very kind of like childlike in a way. She'd be like, oh, it's so disgusting when people are sick, so I can't stand it, and she'd run off in the other direction. And she wasn't that kind of mother that would just read you a story and be there for you, you know. She was just yeah, she was just all over the place. I can't explain it. So sorry, there was just a man looking at me like, what the heck are you doing with the phone? Anyway, yeah, so I've come to this really beautiful place. It's a gem in Watford, and it's gorgeous, and it's freezing, by the way, but it's kind of not as bad as when I got up this morning and had to scrape my car. So what day are we now? We are Wednesday. So if anyone's following this, Wednesday what? February the something. Oh, I've lost track. I keep doing that. Probably like the 20th or 21st. I don't know. Look on your calendars if you really care. Anyway, who cares about what I'm saying, and who cares about my story? No one really. I just thought I'd share it anyway. I know I'm not famous, and even though my dad thought I'd be. But what can I say, guys? Look, I'll come back and talk about this another time. But anyway, anyone in the comments, trauma. What does it mean for you? What did you go through? I haven't finished talking about what I've been through, but I've started. So I'll finish another time. It is cold, but I'm managing. Yeah. How has trauma affected your life? Put it in the comments. Say hello. My name's Natti Gee. Say hello to me, and please subscribe, because this might be a way for me to like have a different direction in life. I'm sort of like, I wouldn't say I've failed. I'm 52. I've got a big family. I'm falling apart at the seams at the moment though, because I'm menopausal, so it's not good. But I've got 6 children. I'd say, 3 of them are big men. I've actually got 3 grandchildren now. I've got still 3 teenagers, but they're all getting big now. And what? So I basically tried to not fail and do what my parents did. But now I'm kind of like flopping, because I've just kind of hit the fan in the last couple of years. Although I've been successful in the sense that I've brought children into the world, and they're older now and they're studying and they're doing things, and I'm really proud of that. That is something that I'm happy about. But and I guess the fact that I didn't end up pursuing any career and get famous and all that C-rap, to be honest, it's probably a good thing. It probably saved me from a lot of seediness, because there's nothing really in this world, in some ways, it's such a dark place. You get on these rides that you can't get off, and there's just no off switch. So in a way, for a season, I've cleaned up my life, and I'm very happy for it and blessed, to be honest with you, and I give God thanks for that. But what can I say? I do have some regrets, but not loads, but I do have some. But I would have liked to see the world a bit more. I would have liked to travel. I like hot weather. I don't like cold weather. Maybe it's from the Israeli blood. I know Israel's not popular at the moment, so but I can't really apologise for that, because I'm half Israeli. What can I say? And I do love Israel. But I really want to go away, and I am going to be going away, because I saved up thousands of Avios points over the years, and now I'm able to use them all to go away to a secret location, which I will let you know about in January, late January sometime, or middle of January. So I am going to go away, and I've got somewhere to stay as well. Somebody's going to let me stay with them. So actually, it's really a blessing. I'm going to get to go away. But I've only been away, I can count on probably on one hand, could I count? One hand and a bit in my lifetime, how many times I've been away. Probably, yeah. Which is, I feel sad. I think there's so many countries and places I'd like to see. Maybe if my channel gets monetized, I can travel, and we can, as an online community, like I said at the beginning, meet up. Maybe once a year. That'd be so nice. So subscription is everything, I think, and watching hours. But if people subscribe to channels, it actually, just hitting that subscribe button doesn't actually cost you anything. And it actually helps other people. So I try and help other people by doing that all the time, because I think, well, if it's just me pressing subscribe, let me do it. And so please, can you do it for me? And let's see if I can get loads of subscribers, get monetized, get loads of watching hours. I'll keep posting, see if it gets me anywhere, and if it does, it might get me into other countries, and it might get me, I don't know, like just to have a better life. I don't know, because right now things are not great, I'll be honest. I'm looking okay, I guess. I have an okay quality of life, but I am, you know, it's like a bag with holes. I think it's for everyone at the moment. I'm struggling. I show like I'm not struggling, but I am struggling. I'm constantly overdrawn. Everything I do is overdrawn or on a credit card. Have I got any money? No. It's not very good, I know. Somebody wrote in one of my comments, why are you still renting at 52? Oh gosh. Don't even get me started as to why I'm still renting at 52 and why I can't even afford my rent and our rent. It's a long story. Like I said, I've got a big family, so it's not that simple. And we missed the property ladder because everything crashed, and at a time where we would have needed such a big deposit to get on. We just didn't have it. Who's got 50, 60 grand lying under their mattress? Well, maybe some people have, but at the time that's what we would have needed for like a 4-bedroom house, which we would have needed at the time, and we just didn't have it. Anyway, it's a long story. I'll let you guys go and I will come back to you. Have a lovely day, whatever you decide to do with it, and don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for visiting my channel. Bye bye.